Go Farino, and we got a great match.
Here, Beckel.
Yeah, absolutely. Event Horizon Kaizen right now currently sitting 2-0 with a 4-0 game series score. Have yet to drop a game, have beaten up against the Mystic Cats and Revolutions per minute, whereas the Clowns came in strong favorites for Zon. Some people calling them the favorites for the league. They took down the Bunnies early in week one, but then they fell to Glacial last week 2-1. But we are hopping into Champ Select, as you mentioned. Blue side for this game will be Kaizen, where the Clowns are on red, but we instantly see the Aurelian Soul taken off.
Aurelion Sol just kind of way too powerful right now. I'm going to be having some more specific player bans coming through, like that Hackram here from the Clowns. And nothing too surprising here on the ban board so far, Bickle.
Yeah, nothing too surprising. Gragas, that hyperflex really between top, mid, jungle, support. Basically, put it anywhere but 80 carry and you'll be happy. Whereas Seraphine, really strong as a triflex between that mid 80 carry and support, just targeting down to make sure they don't necessarily have that team fighting healing. Whereas Zaya, one of the strongest 80 carries on the patch, being banned away. Of course, Navori, still really powerful. The next set of nerfs for Marksman in general haven't come out yet, so she's definitely cream of the crop right now.
And the Yumi as well. Um, Guessing she's legal now on the Rift because
She is
her numbers
indeed
are just
legal.
kind of too damn high right now, to say the least. That is going to leave us with the Sejuani first pick here, though, Bickle. Very strong jungler. We have seen a little bit of top flex, mostly in the amateur leagues like NACL, but something to keep in mind here that might not necessarily be jungler.
Yeah, it could definitely go either way. I believe Zigify and Bud have both already played the Sejuani, but the Clowns with an instant response, it looks like. What's better against a Sejuani than a Trundle?
And that's just going to be locked in here, Bickle. Makes sense. I mean, it's a classic counter for a reason because while Sejuani has the passive armor on up, you just pop the subjugate on her. You get to steal all those resists. You pop the passive, so you get a double dip into the resist drop on the Sejuani. And be paired with the Sivir as well. The Trunda will appreciate the move speed, as you are kind of just relying on that pillar as your main methods of trying to stick onto the backline, which can be a little bit tricky here for the troll.
Yep, Cell going to be really looking to farm up as the Sivir get towards late game. Navori Quick Blades becomes such an important item for basically any meta marksman right now. So we have a late game scaler there. We have that Trundle who just wants to run at you and smack you if possible. But Kaizen going to respond with the misfortune, bringing out the pirate herself and bringing the bullet time to the party.
You already have the Sejuani to pair with this Misfortune, so that's already some nice, very respectable AoE lockdown. Even if only one person gets rooted in place, Pickle, you still have that giant slow field for everybody else to be hit by that bullet time. Curious to see what the Misfortune is paired with in the support position. Traditionally, we have seen a lot of MF with engage supports because they're meta, but also because she just synergizes really well with them. Although right now Enchanters are the talk of the town, that might be a Swain bot. I'm leaning towards Swain mid though, so.
Yeah, I very much expect this more to go into the hands of Spat, though I believe Moosey Kitten has played it before. We will have to just wait and see, though. That flexibility is still on the table and also leaves the Clowns guessing exactly where everything's going. Because all they know right now is they got a Misfortune 80 carry with a Sejuani and Swain somewhere on this map. Whereas you look at what the Clowns have, you're pretty certain that Trundle's going to cream cheese in the jungle. Sivir, only really going to be your 80 carry, and now Corki locked in for CB kills. I am so sad. I wrote an article early saying, I got Spat versus kills. Please don't give me any like Azir Corki. Give me like Silas Akali. And what does he do? He picks Corki.
Yeah. It is going to add to the scaling here for CVC. You got Sivir plus Corki, true carries that scale up insanely well. Corki has been enjoying the Navori quick plates as well, I believe. With the main build, there's always a lot of deviation in Corki build, so it could be that more traditional Luden's poke build. We'll have to see. Either way, though, that is a lot of just long range damage coming out from the Boomerang Blade, plus the Rocket Barrage here, Bickle, that honestly, Kaizen don't really want to be eating up too much for too long before these fights start.
Yeah, Sejuani's tanky and can take up a little bit of poke at the start, but the more you eat out of those missiles, the harder it's going to be. And you're really going to need some sort of front line to be able to deal with that, or get some hard engage going. Yes, they have the Glacial Prison lockdown from the Sejuani, but other than that, you just have a lot of let's run at them and hope for the best. And we have a missed ban. That was an
Yeah,
Alistar. The ban was an
that is
Alistar.
an L-star.
Yep, Alistar is something PBF has played quite a bit of, especially last week. One of its most comfortable champions, paired with that Sivir, so they're going to be taking that engage option away. Whereas the Victor now taken away from Kaizen, so very much they feel like the Swain is going to be heading likely towards the support pool as they double band out the mid laner for Spat.
Yeah, just pinching that pull there, ensuring this Corki has as easy of a time you can in that mid lane. Assuming it isn't against the Swain here. For those bans, CBC not wanting to play it too unsafe here. So just ensuring matchup here. CBC though, what do you want to lock in here? You can go for support here, leave that Trundle up in the air as a flex pick until you know where that Sejuani is going if you want to go the hard counter route. But then also it gives your top lane or jungle the pure counter pick here, which is always such a strength of the red side, unless you feel like you really need a power pick here, and it's going to be the Rakan.
Love Rakan right now. I think he's really strong in the meta. Ever since his little bit of buffs, he's been one of the highest prio supports for a lot of people. Good engage off the quickness and the grand entrance. Plus, his Gleaming Quill provides you a nice little bit of healing that most people don't necessarily look at. And really, just this hyper mobility is going to be really good for PBF. And I'll be interested to see how he looks for these engages. But Spat going to be looking at that Syndra most likely. So that Swain does look like it's going to be flexed down to the support pool.
Yeah. Could also be bot lane carry Swain with support MF. I don't see that against a Rakan lane. There's still a lot of flexibility on this Kaizen composition. Most likely, we're going to see the top laner locked in here for the last pick and have that Sejuani in the jungle here, Bickle. Yeah, this is a very magic damage heavy composition from Kaizen, which might just be a really huge issue if CBC is able to itemize like some Moz or some Mercury treads here, because that just works so well against a lot of these champions.
Well, it seems like the clown said, we're already pretty good at poking. What happens when you bring barrels to a poke fight? And the answer is more poke. Because Gangplank now locked in for one hand. If Gangplank gets himself rolling, he becomes such an oppressive force in zone control, in poke, even in engage from his cannon barrage alone. I love the champion and think he's still overtuned to hell, even after the most recent set of nerfs.
Yeah, definitely still at the very least really strong. We'll see where the pirate does land though after the Navori nerfs, because that is also kind of a huge deal for this pirate. Just getting all that free bonus ability damage on your barrels, which already do a metric ton of damage. Yeah, not sure about that one, but looking at the CBC composition, very scale heavy. They got a lot of backline here, Bickle. You got the Sivir, you got the Corki, you got the Gangplank. Three champions that can definitely poke and whittle you down from a range and really do put out the damage here.
They really do. It feels like Clown Gaming is just saying, okay, you guys have a timer. CB Clowns is saying, you need to beat us before Gangplank, Corki, and Sivir come on. Because if you don't, you're in trouble.
Yeah, you're definitely going to be in trouble here. Thankfully for Kaizen, they do have the engage. I don't know why that was slipping from my brain. They have like a lot of engage here, just purely off the back. You have Sejuani, you have Swain, you have Syndra. Really great tools to just start off fights here. Whether it's just picks, whether it's just full on Leroy Jenkins into the backline. I don't know the
potato,
verb.
potato. But something to note right now is that Bud does have that Sejuani picked as the top laner. Of course, Mordekaiser and Sejuani are flexible as to who goes top and who goes jungle. We will just have to wait out and see what the final picks are for Bud and Ziggler.
Yeah, that's just one of the things. We have to wait until they get into the Klein champion select here so we know where where everybody's going. Always nice to know that, because it is still technically up in the air here. If you really want to, it could be Mordekaiser jungle, Sejuani top, Swain mid with Syndra Misfortune bot. I highly doubt that. Oh, no. Okay, we get a glimpse of the champion select right now here, Vickle, and it's actually going to be the Mordekaiser jungle.
Yeah, that's what it's looking like at the moment. We'll just have to wait and see how much that holds true. And I gotta ask you, based off of what you've seen so far, what you see of these 5 champions versus those 5 champions, who do you favor in terms of the draft?
I'm leaning towards Kaizen here mostly because they have a very straightforward engage composition and they can really just set the pace of how things shape out on the map if they don't fall too far behind here, Pickle. Because my biggest issue with the CB Clowns is that they don't really have engage here. You have Rakan, and then you kind of have the Cannon Barrage, you kind of have the Pillar. Not really the best when it comes to like trying to force your way on the map, which can be an issue if the poking is just not working out.
Yeah, it feels like CB Clown's go button is Syndra on the hunt. I mean, not Syndra, Sivir on the hunt. As they run in, and you look for a grand entrance off the Rakan quickness. And other than that, you're really reliant on the slows and zone control that comes out of Gangplank Trundle, even a Corki package depending on the timing.
Yeah, like it's gonna be tricky. I'm thinking the clown's main game plan here is that let's just whittle them down from afar and then go for it. Because you got the scaling, you got the range. Just whittle them on down here. I think will be the game plan.
That is likely going to be the game plan. I gotta ask you, what lane are you going to be watching for early action potential?
Probably bot lane, because it is Misfortune Swain. And that can be really dirty. Granted, that's level 6 dirty usually, but expect it to be really feisty in the bot lane.
Really can. All it takes is a good never move out of Swain, and suddenly somebody's possibly going to die. But with that, we are through our client champ select. We are heading into our spectator delay. But when that finishes, we'll be right back here with game number 1 of Event Horizon Kaizen taking on CB Clowns. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into our first match of the day between Event Horizon Kaizen and CB Clowns. Event Horizon on the blue side, Clowns on the red. Looks like we don't have any funny business to start off this game. Instead, everybody just comfortable heading to their 5-point.
Got that standard 5-point. A little bit of a stack here in this brush if
Look
kills
at
walks
kills
up a little
cost.
too far. He should be fine. Bar Buddha's being able to just go for that Hail Mary Arctic Assault, but not going to be the case. A little bit of cheeky damage here and there, I believe. Kills able to probably get like 2 gold for that first strike.
Yeah, a little bit off the phosphorus bomb. Gets him to, let's check in. Ooh, he got 13 gold.
Oh, it's kind of
He's
surprising.
winning the game. The game's over. Just go next.
Real. Yeah, so calm all around. Gonna be having some standard starts here in the jungle by the looks of it. Both jungle starting bot side. You want that stronger leash here. Lets you just get on that merry way much quicker. One hand. Looking for a little bit of a deep ward. Does get it on down. Not even spotted as well, so that's gonna be nice info. You know that the start is not on this blue buff. But probably down there on that red buff.
Yep. So you have an idea. Both junglers starting down on that bot side, pathing up towards the top. Both junglers getting a little bit of a leash from their top side, and everybody, sorry, their bot side, and just poking back and forth right now. Kills using that phosphorus bomb, while Spats poking away with the dark spheres. Just damage going back and forth.
Yep, should be calm here for a bit. Neither of these junglers exactly known for level 2 cheese gang powerhouse tactics, to say the least. So definitely at least going to be some farming here from Cream and Zigify.
Spat taking a good chunk of damage there from the Gatling gun of kills. And really not necessarily the best thing you have to see. Already going to be popping that potion. And something to note, Kills opted for that longsword triple pot, so we'll have some extra sustain alongside the biscuits. So really looking for that lane dominance, staying there longer, making the most usage out of that teleport.
Yep,
Right
and
now,
also
zoning away.
does make it so that CS does not go over to gaming nerd. Oh, okay. I was looking for a little bit of an engage there, but that's not going to be it. It's going to instead be in the mid lane here. I feel like there's going to be at least a decent bit of baiting here in the early game bingle. Not too much early kill threat here, unless like something really goes awry in one of these lanes.
In one hand, trying to make good usage of the powder keg, resetting his trial by fire, getting some extra autos there, but Spat getting a good chunk onto CB kills. That scattered the way. Cream Cheese is already top, just trying to chomp him down. Force out the Arctic Assault before he throws the pillar, has to throw it out on his own. 2 stacks with a permafrost. And that's a lot of damage onto Bud, but he is able to escape. No sums burned.
Sums burned. Might just have to do the teleport of shame back to lane here. I don't think you really want to stay in here on that one, buddy, but opts to stay in the end. Oh, no, there's the recall. There's the recall. Just a little hesitant.
Was worried, didn't know exactly where Cream Cheese was, so decides, as you mentioned, to take the safe back. Kill's going aggressive a little bit. Has no mana, but decides to Valkyrie forward to get that extra damage off. Maybe looking to burn a bit more on his Spat before Kills opts to take the recall and TP back in with a full mana bar. Right now,
Yeah.
one hand, just trying to poke away and farm with that parlay.
As is typical for Gangplanks. One hand does have the CS lead here. Partially thanks to that gang, partially thanks to the fact you are Gangplank. You have an ability that's just made to last hit minions, and then you have the barrels as well. You know, just in case you needed AoE wave clear. Gonna need a fat chunk from this trade. Gonna force out the oranges, and that is a big deal here because oranges really do deplete the Gangplank mana bar. So if you're able to force those out in the laning phase, that's a lot less parlays coming your way.
Yeah, and alongside that, we see the fact that one hand already burned through all 3 charges on his corrupting pot. So may have to take it back sometime in the future, but right now, sitting comfortably with 25 CS. It's a bit of a barrel chain, but Bud takes him down, gets the permafrost on again, forces out that remove scurvy. The orange is so key to prevent Bud's all in. There goes Kills mid lane with the Valkyrie in, getting some damage off the Gatling gun and just these autos.
Okay, nothing happening bot here. Looks like a gank was shaping up, but going back to that point about the oranges here, I mean, look at one hand's mana bar, literally nothing left in the tank. All three corrupting potion charges are gone. Really gonna hinder you here. Cream cheese just gonna flash
forced
out.
out mid there. Yeah, Spat was able to use that mid lane prior to rotate over, and Scatter of the Week was enough to threaten out Cream Cheese's flash. And that means this should be an early dragon going over to the side of Event Horizon, relatively uncontested. Topside, though, we do see one hand TPing back, has that Sheen now, and has restocked his mana bar and his corrupting pop.
That's a big power spike for the pirate. Just whenever you get Sheen as Gangplank, it really flips a lot of lane matchups in your favor, or makes it so you can really just trade so hard because you auto proc it with the parlay. It's so much free damage. The Ocean Dragon will definitely matter a little bit here with how trade heavy these lanes have been. Oh lord, that was a little burp. Just giving you that extra sustain to really weather through and make your trade sting harder and their trade sting a little less.
Yeah, Moosey, Kitten, and Gaming are just stepping up, trying to be really oppressive onto a cell here. Kills again, gets hit by that scatter. Spat just getting some good stacks on those Splinters of Wrath, working up to get those empowered abilities. Wants 2 stacks of his Q, obviously. Mid lane, though, Zigify is there. Good sidestep on the Death's Grasp will mean he is able to just walk it out.
Yeah, and Spat might have been able to get the kill there with the unleashed power, but was kind of doubting it. Then saw like, oh damn, I actually left kills pretty low on that one. Sadly, just a little too far out after that point. Kills does have to be very careful though. One Scatter the Weak stun landing on you, and you should be dead to rights more or less.
Yeah, and he knows it. He's deciding to take the back. Knows he doesn't have TP back to lane, but figures that he'd be in a much worse position if he instead died. We see him, he has that tier alongside the Caulfield, so the Manamura will be his first purchase most likely in the future. But Zigify using that mid prio to invade in this bot jungle, look for the buff, trying to get someone going. Meanwhile, just trading going on the top side, and there's a bit of a stun coming out of the Permafrost. The autos are coming out. It's a large trade back and forth as one is really getting chunked by that Winter's Wrath flail.
That's the thing about Sejuani. You have a lot of damage for a tank, and see if that landed, that might have just been a kill there because you force out the oranges, then you pop the Glacial Prison ultimate there. Just do the little yeet and hope you don't field goal and miss the mark on that one, and that should be a kill.
While that was ongoing, we did see off camera PBF flash in for a gank mid lane, traded his flash for Spat's mid. So maybe looking aggressive come later with the fact that Spat no longer has that TP. But of course, flash so important for a potential recon engage. We know that Cream Cheese is in the area. The question is, are they going to look on the Gaming Nerd and Lucy Kit? Cream Cheese does show himself, instead decides just to back it off. But Zigify is also in the area. And it looks like PBF is posturing aggressive, trying to get some procs and a little bit of damage here. Cream Cheese is going to back, which means this would be a 2 versus 3. Zigify is walking in now, does have that Realm of Death, uses the Death's Grasp, pulls him back, but the Spell Shield will block that out. PBF hit by that Vision of the Empire. Meanwhile, topside,
oh, that crit, bro.
Damage. Of course, Gangplank RNG's the Crystal Trial by File Reset, but there's flashed away from the Glacial Prison, and that's going to be first blood going over to one hand.
That 15% barrel crit, dude, come on.
And welcome to the Gangplank game. It's Gangplank game, it's Tryndamere game. You RNG a crit, you win the lane.
That's just a Giga Bro moment, like, God. Because, like, that was a barrel crit, too.
Yeah, that's not just a regular crit. That's a barrel. That's going to hurt.
Yeah, because it's like, I mean, I believe Buddha was supposed to win that one. Not entirely clear cut. But then you get a 300 damage AoE crit that also helps.
Hold on a second. Spat on to Cream Cheese here. Cream Cheese barely secures the Herald, but will be chunked down by that Unleashed Power. Zigify going to keep chasing, has popped the ghost, one hand, turns back, realizes he can't do much, pops the oranges to escape the Death Realm, but he is going to fall here. Kills, flies over with the Valkyrie, trying to assist. May face his own death as well, trying to run away, throwing out these cannon barrages. In comes PBF though with the grand entrance off the charm. And he's able to take down Zigify, and that's going to be another kill. Traded back 2 for 2 in the end after you consider that bot lane kill. But right now, that Herald play was looking sketchy, but Cream Cheese was able to secure the Herald in the end.
2 for 1 in the favor Mm, Lord. I've been swallowing my water
Yeah,
incorrectly.
man, don't
But
worry about
two
it.
for one in the favor of Kaizen, but that Rift Herald, like you mentioned, is going to be the difference maker here. If Cream Cheese able to get something going in the spot lane, I believe Blast Cone's available to hop on over, get a good gank, get a bunch of plates with that Herald. That'll be a big boon. It's not looked to be
Bud
the
right
case right
now,
now.
triple plate up top side, taking advantage of one hand being dead. But right now, one hand back with that early Essence Reaver. If we thought the crit cloak hurt, imagine what an actual item's gonna do.
Yeah, yeah, 20% crit. Definitely a lot more likely than 15% crit. That and also since like it gives you the mana restore, so you can really just use all your abilities off cooldown.
Yep,
Maybe not
just
oranges,
poke away
maybe
with
not oranges, but
parlay.
oh,
Hold on,
okay, good
Zigafy's
killer. There
caught
is no
here. Here is
flash.
the engage off the grand entrance, knock up instantly. There goes the pullback. Not going to be enough though. The scatter weak is enough to disengage him, but the package comes
Great
through.
package.
Cannon rush over the top. Zigafy will fall. Looks like Spats next is there. The Valkyrie kills, picks up the kill. Moosey Kitten in the back line though has to run away. Bullet time just to disengage. 4 around the area as the bot lane of Kaizen is running for their life. And it looks like they will escape, caught by the Death Grasp, but it looks like Cell gonna walk it out. 2-0 going over to the Clown. Meanwhile, topside though, Buddha is keeping it going, lands the permafrost on, getting damage onto one hand. One hand eats the oranges, walks away and just autoing these minions. Says, "You can hit me all you'd like. I don't really care." Sidesteps part of the winner's wrath, not the other part though. Takes a big chunk of damage, but all in all, very much favors the Clowns.
Yeah, a little bit of a contest on this dragon. We'll see if Kaizen is trying to force this engage here.
That's looking to keep going. Sidestep on that never move.
Oh,
and we got a
wait.
secret agent to Cell in the back line saying, "Please don't check the bush. Please don't check the bush."
Oh.
And he escapes in the end right before Gaming Nerd checks it. Cell escapes with his life.
God. That was cheeky AF.
You'll love to see it.
Yeah, gotta check those brushes, man. But at the same time, I know why they didn't check it. Like, oh yeah, they're clearly all running away. Why would Excel just be hanging around in this pixel brush while we're all around them? You know, one of those things where it's like when you got that producer vision, it's like, what? This is crazy. But then you're looking.
Check this. Oh wait a second, they don't know. Yeah, right now we have 4 stacked from both teams down here. Zigafy stepping up, forces out the Valkyrie there. PBF is out on the blast cone, one hand, and Buddha going in. Buddha manages to get the knockup off the Arctic Assault, and there's the permafrost stun. Eats the orange, but there's the Glacial Prison lockdown, and the Winter's Wrath takes him down. Solo kill to Buddha's Dragon.
The Bomby Cinder completion coming in and really helping just finish off those long trades here for Beckel. And now even more plates here. That's going to be 4 plates for this top lane Sejuani. Even though Buddha's Dragon did give up first blood due to a unfortunate crit.
Cream Cheese is here, gets the smite, trying to get him in. Chomps to try and proc the armor, but there's the Arctic locking down with all of that permafrost. Cream Cheese still going, pops the subjugate, but Buddha's just going to walk out in the end, and that means one hand who is TP'd back to lane going to be rather content to just now try and push. We do see Moosey Kitten gets charmed up, PBF coming in. There's the disengage with the battle dance, but look who's here. It is Zigafy's Pop the Ghost. Cell trying to throw out the damage. The Boomerang Blade flashes in, is able to trade 1-for-1 in the end in a 3v2, and you got to think Cell knew he was dead, so he's happy with that trade. As topside, we see one hand take down the first tower with the assistance of Cream Cheese.
Able to burst that one on down. Okay.
Bullet time forced out, flashes from PBF, who has to escape, barely lives in the end there. Really cutting it close, but he's got the fancy feet.
Almost doing a little too much trolling there, Bestie, but like you said, able to get out. Able to also save the turret. So that's nice. And like you mentioned, able to get first turret in that top side. I think those extra plates weren't picked up in the top side. I know at least 1 or 2 had already dropped up there. But that's still first turret local gold here for this Gangplank, which is always scary, to say the least. Sitting on the barrel right now.
Speaking of Gangplank, barrel into Buddha, trying to run away now, using that Trial by Fire passive, drops another barrel. Permafrost CC is there, but the barrel chain already goes off, eats the oranges. Buddha is going to run away, has that empowered Blast Cone if need be, but PBF's just going to take that away, set themselves up nicely for this Herald that's going to be spawning.
Looking to keep control over the river. Glacial Prison is back up, though. The Cannon Barrage is not. Oh, money. Or, sorry, Moosey. You gotta be careful there. Gotta be careful.
I gotta be careful. Kill stepping up, getting some damage onto the tower. Throws out a little bit of missile. Doing a bit of damage there. Both 80 carries right now. Very content. Sitting bot side and pushing away.
Although, Excel, the one pushing up into that turret, getting some free damage. And even though we saw the setup here from the CB Clowns, it is Kaizen who have first dibs on this Rift Herald. You got 4 people on it. They're going through it as fast as they can. They pop the eye. There is still a chance of contest here, even though there's no smite. Never mind. Just drops down too fast. Excel.
PBF is here, though. They may look to dive this. There's the Grand Entrance with the Quickness Charm. They're diving under the tower. PBF will secure the death for himself, but it means a Cell picks up the kill. 1 for 1, but a Cell picks up a kill bot. Not necessarily what you want to see when you're in a 2v1, though.
Yeah, didn't really have the minion wave under that turret, and PBF just eating a lot of damage. It does mean you have a 3-in-1 Sivir, though, so that's pretty scary. Does also mean there's a 2-in-1 enemy Misfortune, so you definitely have the scarier. Yeah, you definitely have the scarier carry with the kills, but I mean, a Misfortune with kills does still hit quite a bit like a truck, to say the least.
Just a wee bit. We do see Next Dragon now has spawned. It is going to be working towards that Chem Tech Soul. Everybody coming down, looking for a fight. Nobody's going to be heading topside to catch these wins. Everybody wants to brawl for the Dragon, as Kills does have the package available. That's a big point for this team fight, as it looks like Kaizen's trying to find a way into this river now. We see Buddha has also made his way over.
Could just see the package to sequester these people on off from Kills.
You see them all
just
walking in. Racial assault, but there is the package in the back line.
Oh no, you
out in, but then blown up. Spat is by Zigify. 2 fall though. In the end, that's traded back as the Cell picks up the kill. The Dragon is still there. Cream Cheese saying Dragon is life, Dragon means death. But meanwhile, Lethal Tempo is procced in the backline. Cell threading through this team. He does end up picking up the Dragon to end the fight. Cream Cheese pops the pillar. Moosey Kitten, you are in trouble, my friend. He will fall to Cream Cheese as the Boomerang Blades and the Chomp take him down. He's now onto Buddha. The heal comes out. The auto enforces out the flash. Buddha throws out the Winter's Wrath to escape. This tower is still standing, but they're still going. The Boomerang Blade is not enough. But look who's here. It's the Pirate One Hand. There's the autos coming in. A Cell takes down the tower. Now onto Buddha's Dragon. And just ricochet after ricochet. The autos will take him out. A Cell picks up the kill, and that's a delayed ace onto Event Horizon.
Oh no.
That's a TP. Wait,
yeah,
they're still going. Oh, they're on the Spat. That's Valkyrie in. They're on to Zigify and Spat. Cream Cheese is here. Autos down on the Spat. The Vision of the Empire will slow him. There's the Pillar of Ice. A Cell keeping these autos going. There's a flash in with the Grand Entrance from the Shirelia's engage. And Zigify's burning down will live though, thanks to that healing off the Indestructible. And oh boy. Hold on, it's not over yet. There's a Scatter the Weak forcing out the cleanse, but the Unleash power takes down a Cell. That Spat picking up a kill. The invaded to the bot jungle is called off, as this has been a chaotic minute and a half.
Yeah, because the Dragon died a minute and a half ago, and the team fight just ended. Because keep in mind, the team fight started before that Dragon, so that was like a solid 2 minutes of just fighting here, but things going back to a little bit of calm on the Rift, they say, as there's an all-in on the top lane. Buddha's Dragon does have the Glacial Prison available.
Hold on, that Kills blocked down a little bit. Engage off that Grand Entrance. Spat is ignited by PBF to just try and buy time for kills, since we also saw Moosey Kitten was in the area. One hand triple barrel, getting a bit of poke off onto Buddha's Dragon. Meanwhile, Herald is popped down bot side as they're looking to get Misfortune in this bot tier 1 tower. One hand poking away with this parlay. He does eat some Winter's Wrath, though. Lockdown forces out the oranges, and in the end needs to flash away after the Arctic Assault into the Glacial Prison comes out. But look topside, PBF is here just trying to help out his top laner, buy him time and help him clear the wave. Meanwhile, mid lane, Zigify and Moosey Kitten shoving up, but a cell clears that wave like it's no problem whatsoever. Meanwhile, we do see kills, has finished that Manamune now. Fully stacked on the tier, working towards that Ludens next. His poke is going to be extremely impressive as this game continues to go on.
And we did see the bot lane outer turret fall there, so Kaizen able to get their first turret of the game here. Still a 2-1 turret lead, and 2 minutes till the next dragon. It would be the sole point here for CB Clowns if they do pick it up. We saw how bloody the fight was last time, though, and it's still very even footing here throughout most of the Rift. Is really just on a couple of key members here with some slightly notable leads. You know, you got... Wait, no. There's actually no huge lead across any of the lanes here. Okay, quick.
Hold on, there's the quickness into the grand entrance. They're on to Spat. Buddha is here, and Cream Cheese decides he just wants to auto away at this Sejuani. PBF tries to catch him, battle dance way
as
the pull comes back from Zigify. One hand is here, dropping the barrels, and there's some damage coming out. That's all 5 of Kaizen in the area. That means Kills is free to split push this bot side right now.
Getting a decent bit of damage there, and you have this push going on in the mid lane here with these low health members on Kaizen. CB Clowns more than happy to just keep on shoving up here. Look to get some pressure onto this turret. Won't be able to get it, but does mean nobody coming down to that bot lane inner. And CB Kill is able to get a bit of solo gold there. Notable power spike, or notable spike in gold here. Should be definitely enough to finish off the Ludens here, plus work towards the boots on this back. You definitely want to back here because there's a dragon up in less than a minute, and you should also have package for this one.
Yep, big spikes coming in. One hand has picked up that Lord Dominic's Regard. 2 items now, 40% crit. Usually we see people head into that Navori second. Instead, he opts to deal with the Sejuani a bit better because of how tanky she is. Also, we see the Quick Blades picked up for a sell, the big 2-item spike, while Gaming Nerd has not yet hit that 2-item spike. That means this team fight going to be a very sizable advantage in terms of items coming in for the side of the Clowns.
And the Clowns are really going to want to leverage this. Okay, Ghost Pop.
Ghosted in here. Going to walk away, though. That's going to be the Ghost burned for nothing, as only the Valkyrie was burned yet. The package hadn't been picked up. Of course, TP is ready for Kills, who is going back, priming himself, getting himself ready. He's picking up the
That's a good stun.
That's looking to go in. Big barrel combo comes out from one hand, but in comes the TP mid lane. Now comes Kills with the package. He's looking for something here. The rest of CB Clowns waiting on his call.
They are in the pit.
We see the fact that Kaizen's just focusing this dragon.
They're
Big blast
going for
over.
it.
Cream Cheese goes in. There's the engage. Massive package to the backline. Lockdown to the Arctic Cell. Bullet time is huge, but nothing is taken advantage of as it's just Cream Cheese in his cell shredding the backline. Cream Cheese flashes in, picks himself up a Quadra. Report a sell for the stolen pentakill.
Yeah, you don't want to group up like that for the Corki package, to say the least, and we saw the repercussions of that action there in that fight. Bickle Clowns now sitting on that soul point. They take home a solid team fight dub. They're going to be able to pick up this turret. Are they going to be able to grab Baron? You definitely got the time to work.
I think they can.
Here.
I think they can.
You have this 2 items ever should be able to melt through it, but you do also only have 3 members on this, and the enemy team is respawning, so there is a chance that we see Kaizen get here in time to contest.
Yeah, a little bit, but this Baron is being shredded pretty quickly. Doesn't look like Zigify is going to get here in time to try and contest, especially with one hand here to do a little bit of extra damage. In all honesty, we saw the cons of grouping up against a Corki package, plus a Sivir who's ricocheting your entire team. Plus Gangplank barrels. Nobody's caught.
Half second of the recall. Yeah. Yeah, that's the last half second of the recall for you. You're able to get out, even if you get auto attack or hit. And now, I mean, CB Clowns, you can see on the map, objective bounties have come in. Kind of clear one of these teams is behind. At least a little bit of bounty gold going over to Team Kaizel here, but you know, that's just a small little pat yourself on the back after a huge team fight loss, followed up by the Dragon loss, followed up by the Baron loss, followed up by what's gonna be a really brutal Baron siege here.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot of losses to me, and they may be on track to add another one in the loss column for this game. If you're the side of Kaizen right now, what's your plan trying to come back into this? You knew you needed an early advantage against something that's such a hyper-scaling team comp, but what's your course of action here?
Definitely going for picks or just forcing engages here at opportune times because you have this Sejuani, you have this MF able to just completely shred through people. Oh, okay,
The
good
kills
stun.
is caught there. There's the unleashed power. Zigify is in the area, just walking menacingly ahead. Meanwhile, Gaming Nerd throws out the ultimate, not able to catch the cannon minion though, so the siege continues. Meanwhile, bot side, the cannon barrage and the flash out of kills are going to be enough to get him out of it. Kills perfectly okay. The Baron lives, and that means nothing was really accomplished bot side except for that Grump, which is stolen away by Zigify.
Kills has to be careful. There could be the loop around here. Do still
Cheese,
also have
though.
that top lane siege, so a lot of just damage to structures being done right now by the clowns. They're able to pick up another 2 towers for themselves.
Yeah, when you have siege minions just firing away, and then you have a poke comp like the Corki and Gangplank just firing away and chunking your health bar, you're in a really rough position. Zigify, though, has popped the ghost, looking to get onto somebody, going to be running, instead focusing the minion wave, and decides to stop the chase. Not going to get anything out of that summoner spell.
You can see, I mean, Zigify, they're trying here and looking for it, but you're mostly looking for a Scatter of the Weak, a Claw of Doom, or a pick like this, I guess. Main thing I was gonna say, there's a Glacial Prison, able to at least steal the
Zigify wins the smite fight, even though there wasn't a smite fight because CB Cream Cheese didn't know he was there. PBF
might
looking
have the
potentially.
engage here.
He's playing a dangerous game. Instead, just battle dances away to cream cheese. Looks like the side of Kaizen didn't want to engage in case he had backup there, which was a good call considering he did.
Still got some Baron buff power play left. You gotta be careful here, Kills. If that Glacial Prison lands, like you can just look for this.
Yep, and there's the look for it that you mentioned, but the Valkyrie away to safety means kills will be perfectly okay. And instead, everybody's going back to farming the waves. Checking in on how things are going right now. Syndra at 109 Splinters of Wrath, so does have the execute on her ultimate, does not yet have the bonus percent ability power. So very close to that biggest spike, but right now, Quirky taking it back. Dragon in 40 seconds. This would be Chemtech Soul for the side of the clowns if they were to pick it up.
I mean, Kaizel, they're gonna have to force their way into this because once again, the package is gonna be up for this. It's gonna be
pick Spat here if they walk aggressive, but it looks like instead they're grouping up with Moosey Kitten, playing it safe. Cream Cheese playing very aggressive, but knows he's perfectly okay. He's the tank, remember. Dodge is out on the Scat of the Week. Barrel is set up over the wall by one hand. Big chunk of damage coming out on the Moosey Kitten and Buddha right now. And something to note, one hand does now have that Navori, so this damage is going to be disgusting. They'll keep an eye here on PBF, setting himself up for a very nice recon engage if possible. And the package has been picked up for kills. They're looking at this. They're not just looking for the dragon. They're looking for the game here if it's let happen.
Okay, Spell Shield out, but you're gonna have to force your way into this.
Coming in, Glacial Assault coming in. There's the Enchanted in the back line.
Pick,
Package hasn't even been popped yet. Separated the front line and the back line. PBF plays the hero. It disengages the 3 backliners as one hand flashes in, gets a parlay kill. The barrel's doing damage. Yo ho, a pirate's life for him.
Huge pickup there, and we'll see if this is the game. There are like 20 seconds left on these death timers, and you don't have Baron buff, but you have a sizable wave. You have these double marksmen and a gangplank wailing away on these turrets, so it's looking like a clown's dub here, Bickle.
Yeah, it's looking like it. PBF had a great engage there. Segmented the backline of Spat, Gaming Nerd, and Moosey Kit long enough that Zigify and Buddha were just chunked down by the remaining 4 members of the Clowns. One hand will live at the end there, but the Nexus of Kaizen will not. That's game 1, heading over to CB Clowns.
And CB Clowns, I mean, they kind of got what they wanted in terms of team fights there, Bickle. Like, we only ever saw the huge fights around those dragons when the package was available. We didn't really see Kaizen, like, leveraging the fact that they have this really strong engage to really just force the issue. And whenever you're fighting around those dragons in those choke points, when that package is available, Bickle, I mean, we kind of saw it time and time again. You just either get pincered off or you get hit by that package and you just instantly melt.
Yeah, CB played this poke comp really well between the Corki and the Gangplank. We're just able to poke away, and then when the package was there, they set up a great engage that just let them blow somebody up before the fight even began. And then when the objective fight came to be, it was already a numbers mismatch, and it was just heavily favoring the Clowns.
Yeah, I mean, that was kind of the story of all those later team fights we saw. We saw towards the end Kaizen definitely trying some things. Like we saw the Ghost out of Zigify to try and get those little engages on. We saw the Glacial Prison YOLOs from Buddha Dragons TV, but nothing really quite landing there. And it's a bit of, it sucks to see. You hate to see it.
Yeah, you really do hate to see it, but Kaizen going to have some time to regroup and replan. They have a little bit of time. They will be on the red side for this next draft. However, we are going to head into a quick break as we get everything set up in lobby. But when we do, we'll be back here with the draft for game number 2 between Event Horizon Kaizen and CB Clowns. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to game number two's draft between CB Clowns, who were victorious in game number one tonight, taking on Event Horizon Kaizen. We are getting them all set into draft, but of course, sides have swapped. We will be seeing CB on the blue side while Kaizen has taken to the red. And you got to think, after game one, what are we going to see in terms of ban changes? Because you can't imagine that Kaizen's just content leaving things as they were.
Maybe they take away the recon because we saw PBF making a lot of plays on that. Because I think the main downfall of Kaizen last game was probably just a bit of a macro differential. Like, because if they're engaging only when CB clowns are at their strongest, aka package timing, that's a bit of an issue. So something you can play around, and we'll see if they do that. But in terms of pure bans, I'm leaning towards maybe the recon here.
Definitely. And just for an update for everybody else across the league is what's happening here at IBS. The SNC Sunset Ravens are currently up 1-0 on the AH Danger Bunnies. CB Forsaken is up on Renegades 1-0. SG Tau is beating Tectonic 1-0. TD Dusk up on Glacial Omen. Tenebris Esports Aeon is up on CB Syndicate. Not TD, CB Syndicate, because why wouldn't we have two teams with the exact same name in the league? TD Syndicate is up on SG Neutron, and unfortunately, the Mystic Cats did have to FF tonight due to some computer issues, so that means that Rev per minute was able to take that too.
Able to secure that dub in quick fashion, but like you said, it's because of PC issues. So I hate to see it. A lot of exciting games going on. I don't know if the other games are being streamed, but right now this is game two. Might be the last game of the night here if the CB Ducks are able to close this one on out. But Kaizen, they do still have a chance here, Bickle, and they are going to be taking away the Corky as a response ban.
Yeah, this had kills. You were way too good with those packages, so it ain't happening. Hecarim and Yumi are once again taken off the table, as is that Zaya. Curious to see what champions decide to be stayed open that were banned away last time. CBC, though, taking away their own Trundle while the Gragas is again banned away. That means Aurelian Soul, which was banned away last time, is available, but instead, the Clowns are happy taking away the Sejuani, something that was first picked by Kaizen last time.
I mean, we saw a lot of success from that Sejuani 1v1 in the lane. I believe the solo kill record was 2-1 in the end.
Sounds
so
right.
A twofer. Let's see what the responses are. Like you mentioned, that Aurelian Soul did get through here. Insanely powerful pick. Seraphine, though, okay, that was something we saw banned away last time around. Does slip through. Huge flex pick. In Kaizen, I expect them to, well, flex it.
Personally, when I see Seraphine, I expect that to go down to Moosey Kitten, one of their most played champions. Meanwhile, the Zac picked up another flex, but again, I'd expect this heading to Zigify.
Yeah, and that's going to be a really powerful just ganking machine here. Once you get like 3 points in that elastic slingshot, that's when the range starts getting noticeably pretty damn long here, Bickle. Ranks 1 to, you can go over some walls, you can look a little fancy, but once you hit level 3 on that ability, then it's just like night and day difference. You're able to go for some really crazy ganks over walls, fly halfway across the lane. Just a matter of finding those angles and exploiting them. Although Leona, gonna be a little bit hard to gank.
Yeah, right now the Clowns, a lot of CC, a lot of lockdown between the Sejuani and the Leona. A lot of guaranteed lockdown to somebody like the Seraphine, so you really need to be careful inside of Kaizen. But the Clowns going to be pushing their advantage even harder bot side by picking up the forbidden Caitlyn. Caitlyn right now across BOL IBS in 16 games has a 38% win rate. Caitlyn has been terrible in IBS. The question is, can Acel break the curse?
Yeah, I believe it used to be worse though, wasn't it?
It did. I think it was.
10?
It was 1 in 10 in the first week of IBS. It was terrible. Meanwhile, the Sivir going to be picked up by Kaizen, so heads to the other side of the table. So the late game scaling threat now seems to be heading over to Kaizen.
Of course, there is late game scaling here for the CB Ducks. Caitlyn does scale very well herself once you get past that kind of infamous mid game trough, although these past few seasons has historically been a lot less of a dip, especially with new items coming in. We'll see what they want to do to round off this composition. Because right now you have Sejuani, you have Leona, two very unga bunga champions, but then you have this Caitlyn, a little bit more reserved, not exactly a type of gung ho champion. Wants to play at a range here, wants to keep you at a range and just hit you with those long range headshots here, Bickle. So CB Ducks, I'm looking to see how you want to round off this composition here, make it a little more holistic.
Yep, we do see Mordekaiser, Gangplank, and now Syndra banned away. All champions that saw the Rift in game number 1. Seems like we're going to be in for a lot of new picks come the second phase.
Only two familiar faces so far in the Sivir and Sejuani. Let's see, I'm trying to think what other champs from last game can get through. Because the Rakan did get through, but we do already
With the
have
Leona
Seraphine.
already picked up, and likely
Yeah.
Seraphine, we have probably seen both teams pick up their support already. Unless somebody's running some chaos like Rakan mid, which I would love, but don't expect.
Nope.
We do see the Anivia picked up for Kaizen, going to be heading to Spat. He's found success on this pick already this season. The wave clear of Anivia, she has loved the rebuffing of Rod of Ages plus Seraphs. Both those items fit her so well, and Anivia has been a big supporter of those changes.
We even saw Anivia picked in the LCS today in the TSM game, I believe it was.
That's a
Didn't
Yone.
work out, though. Yeah, TSM versus Dig. Didn't really
Yep.
work out. There's the Yone lock-in, so another Unga Bunga champion here. Gonna be able to put a lot of pressure onto this Anivia because Anivia really struggles when you get up in her grill, and Yone really excellent at doing that here, Bickle. So I expect to see a lot of action in this mid lane here with some ganks.
I absolutely do. Last time we saw Kills and Spat playing a little bit aggressive, trading some damage back and forth. But wait a second, this could be a Yone heading topside for one hand, as Silas is picked up, possibly for kills. Though we still don't know. Yone and Silas both flexible towards that top lane, depending on whatever it is Kaizen picks up last.
Yeah, it really does depend on what Kaizen wants to pick up here. It's okay. Not what I expected. The Silas, I believe, tends to have some issues into the Anivia. Not only because like when you steal the ultimate, it's kind of like whatever, but also because the Anivia can really just play at a range and keep you back with that wall, with that glacial storm, with the frostbite. Can also put quite a bit of pain on you. You will scale up to the point where your really high base magic resist starts taking over and you're able to survive these trades and really pressure the side lanes, but it's going to be probably a pretty rough early going here for this Silas in the mid lane, Bickle.
Yeah, true. Though there is more flex potential that I hadn't even thought about until our wonderful producer brought it up. This has a chance to be a Silas jungle if they want to send the Sejuani top and then the Yone back to that mid lane. That could be really interesting. I'm not sure if Cream Cheese has pulled it out before or how likely it is, but I do like that possibility. Silas does have a good chunk of ultimates to steal here. Between the Ornhorn Engage and the Encore of Seraphine, two massive game-breaking ultimates, depending on the situation.
And looking at the Ducks here, or sorry, the Clowns, the Duck and their logo tripped me up. The Clowns here, I mean, they got a lot of just pure skirmishing power here. When it comes to like side lane 1v1s or 2v2s here, Beckel, like the Ducks, they're gonna be king. Like they're really just gonna take you to town. They got the champions to make use of it, but on the flip side, Kaizen, I mean, they're looking for these 5v5s to say the least.
Absolutely are. And really, it's going to come down to how this Silas and Yone can execute. High variance, high skill execution champions are always fun to watch, but there is always a bit of danger with it. Meanwhile, Caitlyn feels like she's just going to be on her own in the backline, just trying to fire away as a bunch of people are diving into the team.
Yeah, thankfully on your side as this Caitlyn, there's probably not going to be as many people diving on you. Yes, the Zac and Ornn can get on top of you, but realistically, I think the Zac and Ornn might be playing a little bit more appealing duty here, because when you got a Sejuani, Leona, Yone, and Silas all jumping into your backline of Sivir, Anivia, Seraphine, three squishy characters who deal an insane amount of damage and scale very well here, Bickle. You can just play the peeling duty here after you engage and just, keep the Unga Bunga off your backline.
Unga bunga, unga bunga. That's always what you love to see. Team fighting is key, and really just looking to get on and try and blow up as many people as possible.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay, I thought you had an extra point after that.
No,
No, that happens to me all the time where I'm like, and then my coach is like, "Where are you following that up?" I'm like, I thought I was, then I wasn't. But either way, though, it's definitely going to be a battle of like 1v1s, 2v2s, skill matchups versus just pure 5v5s here. I think that's going to be the narrative we see on the Rift this game, Bickle. And Kaizen, if they do want to keep this series going, they're going to have to not let this game get out of control because they're the ones with the scaling comp this time, and it's just a matter of time.
Yep, Anivia, Sivir, Ornn, even Seraphine love to scale late. Get your ornaments, get all the mana and wave clear for Anivia versus people like the Sylas, like the Yone, and especially the Caitlyn. Love the early plates, love the early kills, love to get themselves snowballing and try and press that advantage. I'm really looking at a sell to see if they can push this advantage bot side into the Sivir and try and take some early plates and just get the damage out there. Right now, we are heading into the client draft. At the moment, we see one hand on the Yone with cream cheese on the Sejuani and kills on the Sylas. Of course, we do have to wait until 20 seconds to confirm where everything is going. But if that's the way it stays, I'm really looking at one hand to try and punish this Ornn up top.
Mm-hmm. Also, quick shout outs to Victoris. Thanks for the raid, guys. Hello. Game number 2 of the night. Hope you guys are in it for the ride. It should be an exciting one. Game number 1, was very action-packed to say the least. And getting back to this champion select, it looks like characters are going where we expect them to go, Bickle. No real surprises, no out of left field Sylas jungles. Usually you don't see people swapping champion select if you're doing it in pro draft. Usually.
Yeah, usually you stay standard with who's picking what. But right now, I gotta wonder, where's this early action going to be once again? Caitlyn's going to be looking to push. Yone is going to be looking to be aggressive on this Ornn. But Anivia may look to punish this melee range Sylas, who's going to have to be up close and personal to try and CS.
And this time around, we have two junglers that can look for very early game ganks here, Bickle. I mean, last game it was the Mordekaiser versus Trundle jungle. They definitely can gank early, but they really want some levels, and it's more so counter ganks or someone's overextended. Now, not this time, because you do have the Zac, you do have the Sejuani, two champions who have very strong go buttons, even at level 1, if you do so choose. Level 2 or level 3 much more likely here, and honestly, a level 2 or level 3 gank coming through might just be something to spook the enemy team, pick yourself up first blood, and look to secure lead in this game and bring yourself to a series win for either side.
Yeah, you're really going to be looking at early action, early ganks out of these junglers. That's going to be the story here. You got to keep your eyes on Cream Cheese and Zigify. Those are the people trying to make action happen. But with that, we are finished with our in-client draft. We are going to head into our spectator delay. But when we come back, we're going to be here with game number 2 of CB Clowns taking on EH Kaizen. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into our second game of the day here between CB Clowns, now on the blue side, taking on Event Horizon Kaizen, who are on the red. Clowns were able to take away game number one in a relatively clean victory with some good late game scaling, but this time it seems like Kaizen has bit back with some late game scaling of their own, whereas we see One Hand now actually piloting that Silas top, so a little bit of a trade in the solo laners.
And Silas Ornn, you don't exactly have kill threat as the Silas, and the Ornn can kill if you're not able to get good Kingslayers down, because the Kingslayer heal is going to be the difference maker in this matchup and really helping you survive these early levels. I'm curious to see what One Hand goes in terms of build here. I think Riftmaker is like technically an option, but I think we're going to see the much more standard just pocket sand build.
Most likely. We'll have
Mm-hmm.
to just wait and see, though, exactly how things are playing out. Though, with PBF being on this Leona, you always have to be careful, especially come level 2, because Leona loves being aggro, especially into squishy little enchanters.
And Musi does not have the cleanse here, because Gaming Nerd wanted the cleanse. Makes sense. Even though you have Spell Shield as Sivir, it is hard to Spell Shield in the Leona matchup. You can Spell Shield the Zenith Blade, and usually you're able to get enough distance between you and where that Zenith Blade landed to get out of the Shield at Daybreak range. It's also another story of the... Okay, a little bit of an early gank here.
Yeah,
Flash.
flashing it instantly with the Shield of Daybreak, and there you go. Arctic Assault gets the lockdown. There's the Permafrost CC. First Blood picked up by PBF off a really cheeky level 2 gank by Cream Cheese.
Well, these certainly are ganking junglers. Like we mentioned in Champion Select here, Bickle, and First Blood gonna be just dropping down in that bot lane, picked up by PBF. Hopefully they're gonna be able to keep this lead going on in the bot lane, because one thing you really like to do when you have a lead in Leona lane is either suffocate your opponents because you just all in them every time they walk up, or they're so scared to walk up that it just gives you, all the freedom in the world to roam.
And something to note now, Gaming Nerd without their flash, so even more vulnerable to any possible repeat ganks. The Wissel did burn their flash as well, trying to get some damage back. The One Hand and Buddha trading back a bit here. The Ignite's pop, that's a solo kill going to One Hand.
Okay. I actually didn't catch that because I had to quickly reach for my orange juice and drink some, but all right. And that's with the ignite difference as well for Buddha's Dragon. So, that's a big deal. You know, the Silas is going to outscale you in the 1v1. There is the pause coming out. Looks like we have a little bit of connection issues here.
Just a little bit. Looks like they're
Oh.
figuring things out. Was TD Cream Cheese who DC'd jungle. Kind of an important role to have, but hopefully we get him back in rather quickly so we can get things settled.
Yep. Can be a little bit here. Does kind of suck for the momentum of this game because there's already 2 kills here, 3 minutes in, which not the like most insane pace in the world, but it's a pretty fast pace in terms of kills here, Bickle, and both of them going over to the CB Clowns.
Yeah, Clown's really solid in their early game right now with what they've picked up. Leads top side, leads bot side, and really what you like to see if you're trying to play this early snowballing game.
And that's definitely what you want here for the Clowns. Like, you got to keep the snowball going. Yes, it isn't a huge snowball right now, but the fact that it is 2-0, you have leads in both your side lanes here, and you can look to make something happen mid, which, I mean, if we take a look at the frozen map right now, we see a Leona here for PBF just hovering in that mid lane. Spat does have the flash here if need be, and will probably be a bit of a need be sort of scenario here with that Zenith Blade threat.
Absolutely, especially with Hex Flash being available for PBF right now. You know he's going to be looking aggressive, especially with how far shoved up Spat already is. They really want to look for that kill. And right now, though, we do see the fact that Zigify was invading into the top side of Cream Cheese. So provided Cream Cheese gets back here and is coherent to what's going on in the game, we may see a bit of a scuffle around Gromp and Wolves. Though to note, One Hand is backing right now, whereas Buddha had already TP'd back after being solo killed. And something even more impressive about that topside solo kill, Buddha had Ignite. One Hand did not, yet One Hand still got the solo kill.
Yeah, I mean, that kind of just blows my mind here, Bickle, because, like, Buddha's Dragon, they have the advantage in these early all-ins. You just have so much damage with that Brittle proc as Ornn here. You have that Grasp too for extra damage, and you even have the Ignite. A lot of tools to just lock down One-Hand Silas, keep them from really ever being able to Kingslayer you, from ever being able to use the No More Chains is the ultimate, but the Absond Abduct on you, and it doesn't work out, and that's not good.
Yeah, it does not. I'm wondering if Buddha just doesn't have that much experience as Ornn into Silas. Of course, not a matchup we tend to see with the fact that Silas tends to be heading more towards that mid lane. And you got to think the pressure's now on Zigify to try and turn things around, find a place to gank.
And it is still only 3 minutes into the game, so by no means this is over yet, but this is a worrying start to say the least. And we did get another reconnect here. Oh, hello, us and the champion select. We did see the last reconnect though here, so I believe we will be hopping back into this soonish.
Yep. Looks like they're calling for the R's whenever, so things should likely be getting picked up back soon, hopefully. That's what you really want to see. Hopefully, we get things going whenever they are ready to go. But their jungler apparently went to the bathroom, meaning we're going to be in this pause just a bit longer. Yeah. But
Yeah, in between games. Come on.
Yeah.
Leave your bladder then. Well, okay. Sometimes it's an emergency, and the pause was going on for a bit, but still, you're holding us up. That's what really matters. Your inconvenience. You're making our days slightly more inconvenient.
Yes. How dare you inconvenience us? How dare you? Stuff to look at right now is Cell shoved up a little bit. Of course, no real pressure out of his bot duo with the fact that Zigify and Cream Cheese are both in the top area. PBF, that's who we're going to be looking at as soon as this game is unpaused at that potential mid lane gank. And One Hand, be interesting to see how much money he has and what he's going to be going for on the back and what the build path is going to be.
Because there are options, but it's more likely for One Hand just gonna be like stick to the bread and butter here. of that pocket sand into. Actually, what is the second item usually? Zonias, I believe.
Can be Zonias,
I
can
think it
be
varies.
Shadow Flame, all depends. But into
Yeah,
something tanky like the Ornn, we'll have to wait and see. I'm not used to seeing too much Silas top.
yeah. I mean, it's like we mentioned, it's not unheard of, but it really just goes into the mid lane because Riot wants Silas to be the anti-mage champion, and typically not a lot of mages in the top lane. I guess there's like some battle mages up there, but those are rare sights nowadays, to say the least. So a little bit off guard, but playing much the same as most any mid lane Silas.
Yeah, it really is, and that's the same playstyle you're going to be looking for. And kills? Oh, we are right back instantly. All
Oh,
right.
oh, right,
We are going to
transition.
be heading right back into the
Hey,
game. No worries
there's
here.
the
A bit of
game.
engage coming in from kills. As you mentioned, Spat pops the egg. That is what you like to see. We will get there eventually, as
Yeah,
good old
30-second
Riot
pause.
Games saying, okay, you paused, we're going to freeze frame for a little bit. But
I don't know why
I
it does
think
this.
it's safe to say that Spat is about to die.
Yeah, I mean, thankfully for Spat, it's only the two tanks wailing on you.
Yeah.
That
The
is
spell
like,
backs up a little bit, and we are all good here. Looks like we're back in the game. Hopefully no more breaks. Moosey Kitten just trying to zone a sell out a little bit. Stepping up. It's a good bit of chunk of damage off that beat drop. He knows the fact that with PBF mid, can step up to zone out.
and just put the Caitlyn under turret for once. Not the most unheard of thing of League, especially when the Kate's in a 1v2. Very appropriate response there. But now 3-0 here for the Clowns. They got a kill in each and every one of their lanes. So they gotta be feeling nice, because they already got the lead in this series. They just need to take home one more dub here. And they'll be able to close this one on out and stop Kaizen's victory streak.
Yeah, and they're looking to try and keep that going. As you mentioned, leads in every lane means they're up about 1.5k gold about 5 minutes into the game. So nothing too crazy yet, but it does
Oh,
have the
5 minute
potential to
standards,
snowball.
though.
Yeah, fair point.
Yeah. Like, by 5 minute standards, this is pretty big. But 1.5k can only do so much to, like, instantly end the game. Okay, a little bit of a wraparound here in the bot lane is going to be spotted out. So Cream Cheese... Oh, X-Flash 2.
A little bit chunking out here. Cream Cheese is fine, though. Going to be walking away, but Zigify's in the area. The root is not going to come in. Thanks to having that Arctic armor removes the first slow, meaning he's only slowed.
Oh,
PBF going deep, though, onto Moosey Kitten. The Zenith Blade with the follow-up of the Shield of Daybreak and the Ignite is enough to take him down. PBF wants to keep going, though. There's the Eclipse Shield to get a bit of extra resistances. They're looking to turn on the Spat. Cream Cheese is running away. PBF gets some slows, gets some damage, gets some stuns. Ecel's trying to pop up the damage. Kills, comes over the wall, pops the Unstable Matter passive.
Don't forget about the Zac.
They're looking to get back onto him. Who's going to pop out of his bloblets at about a quarter health? Flashes away. He's looking to escape, and it looks like he will. There's the Elastic Slingshot out to safety, and that is going to be an escape, but a minion kills Cream Cheese. What's going on there, buddy? Don't worry. Nobody saw that. But in goes one hand onto the Ornn using the Abscond Abduct. The Bellows Breath gets that Brill proc going back and forth. Of course, Buddha now has level 6, one hand still level 5. Here comes the call of the Forge God onto the tower, flashed away from the Scott Duck tower, and there's the lockdown with the Kingslayer heal to get the solo kill under tower. Buddha was feeling himself, but he shouldn't. Spat takes a bit of damage from that Soul Unbound as he slaps back to that state of his spirit, and right now, Buddha's got to be kicking himself. That's again with the Ignite. He doesn't pick up the solo kill. Meanwhile, Kill's playing back safe. PBF in the area, but Zigify was looking to go in. Hold on. Oh. PBF wants this as he knows Cream Cheese is here. They're getting the slow onto Zigify. Dash in with that Mortal Steel knockup. CB kills, picking up some blood for himself.
Now it's 6-1. That's tragic.
One hand dashed away.
Yeah.
Damn.
Like you said, Buddha's got to be kicking themselves here, Beckle. Like, Because they almost had that kill there. Had the Call of the Forge God landed, it would have been hunky-dory, and it looked like there was a little bit of autopilot there. Buddha's Dragon just thinking like, all right, this lands, I drop the Ignite, one more auto, and I finish this, but then they noticed that the Call of the Forge God missed due to one hand's flash, and by then it was kind of too late because you're already just moving on in. Kingslayer, turret shot, and then you're like, yeah,
Like, well, I messed up.
yep.
And that's okay, but looking at one hand now, we see what he's looking to go for in terms of that mythic, with the catalyst going to be heading towards that Rod of Ages. So going a bit tankier on the Silas while still getting some nice AP, which you like to see. Steals away the Call of the Forge God. He's looking to go in, abscond to the Duck, pops his own stolen Call of the Forge God, gets more chains out, able to just whip and chain him, get this damage out, looking to keep chasing. Dash away, though, as Zigify is in the area. Looks like Bud not going for that Searing Charge knockup. That means Free Dragon now going over to the side of the Clowns.
Although Kaizen, they can look for this Rift Herald if they... Oh, no, they cannot. You already see
not with the cavalry running over.
Yeah, I was like, okay, yeah, it was this typical 1-for-1 in objective trades, but then I just look in mid and PBF's already there with the Mobies, and it's like, okay, maybe not. Maybe not.
I tend to be a support that's not the biggest fan of Moby boots, but if you're going to play like PBF is playing, you grab your Mobies as early as possible. A good sidestep there from one hand onto the Searing Charge, dodges out on the knockup, and just trading back. Buddha is having a rough time into one hand right now. Yep. And the Cell has been 1v2 more often than anybody in this game right now. He's basically a solo laner at this point. He's the same level as his mid laner.
Yeah, that's roaming for you. That root does land.
Rooted.
There's no Encore to follow this up.
Yep, no level 6, but Buddha gets the knockup off the Searing Charge. Jesus, tanking, and he's gonna die? Here comes Call of the Forge God. That's another turret shot. That's a botched dive coming out onto Buddha, who picks up the double kill. And that's a kill bot side on his Cell, who gets the headshot off the net. And what is going on?
Events. I can tell
Who
you that
needs
much.
numbers advantages?
Yeah, like...
Kills, though, sees Zigify here, dashes in with the Soul Unbound, gets some damage off the Mortal Steel. There's the Fate sealed onto him, pulls him back, snap back. Zigify is safe, though, thanks to the healing off the Grump, alongside some good surround sound.
One little cheeky knockup on the way out there. A lot did just happen. Thankfully for Kaizen, it's a 2-for-1, and they also get that shutdown in the top lane off of that rather botched dive. We'll see if Buddha Dragon is able to do it again.
I don't think Cream Cheese was happy with how that last dive went. There's the Permafrost stun. Get some damage. In comes the Glacial Prison. One hand's looking to keep the chase going, but Buddha's just trying to walk away. There's the Abscond. Autos. The Abduct not going to come in. Meanwhile, Kills caught by that Flash Frost, but PBF in the area dashes in with the Soul Unbound, and the Zenith Blade forces out the Flash of Spat. PBF being a menace on the map to the side of EH Kaizen.
Did we just see another all in here? I mean, Spat kind of confident there. For good reason. I mean, like, that's a pretty low health kills there.
One hand, you learn your lesson, right? You don't dive him under tower this time, right? Looks like he's just going to accept the tower charge, get some plates onto himself with the Rift Herald's assistance.
Ooh.
PBF back bot side, but Zigify's also in the area, priming that Elastic Slingshot in case he wants to go in. Meanwhile, though, Acel's just farming out bot lane, 2-0-1, up 30 CS, despite the fact that he's been 1v2 in a majority of this lane.
Yeah, kind of crazy, too. Because it's not like that...
Hold on, Acel is level 8. He is he's ahead of his mid laner and his jungler. Yeah,
that was indeed true. It does also help that there's a general XP lead here for CB Clowns. It's just the fact it's 7-3 in kills. That's a bunch of extra XP in your pocket.
Okay, Cell's just trying to use this range advantage out of the Piltover Peacemaker to chunk out both Gaming Nerd and Moosey Kitten. Just stepping up, especially now that he has PBF in the area. The all-in engage threat is there now that the Solar Flare is available.
That's a big deal. because Moosey
We got a
Cannon's
knock up here. One hand tanks tower, and Zigify is in the area if they want to look at this. He is spotted on the pink board. In comes the call, the Forge God. Sidesteps, not going to be able to dodge out on that. Steals away the Let's Bounce to try and disengage, but pulled in with the stretching strikes. The Abscond gets him away, forces out the flash as the sidestep is there, but a Bellows Breath with that own Let's Bounce is enough to take down One Hand.
One Hand might have been out of that. They went back in to get a Kingslayer, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, Kill's looking here. Could be missing a lot,
Flash
though.
Frost, but just chunked out a little bit. Going to be content healing back up with this Mortal Steel. Cream Cheese sitting bot side. Doesn't know he's on a ward, though.
All tragic. I mean, that might not be completely necessary here if you just throw out the Solar Flare into the Glacial Prison. Okay, yeah, revealing the words there, so...
Now it is known. Kills sidesteps on that Flash Frost, dashes in with the Soul Unbound, gets the knock up off this Mortal Steel. There's the Ignite coming in with the lethal tempo stack. Big chunk of damage, forcing out Spat nearly into his egg. You gotta think Kills is possibly looking at this, but he's still caught in this Glacial Storm. Gets caught mid lane. Zigify comes in. Doesn't have anything to pull him back and flashes in to get the
steal here, buddy.
The shield off the Spirit Cleave. Dash in. There's the Soul Unbound into the knock up. PBF here to save the day. The Soul Unbound with the Fate Sealed is enough to save kills. Meanwhile, PBF still looking for more. The Bloblets are about to spawn up, but it's not. Kills will get the kill. Meanwhile, bot side, Acel, who had been left on his own for so long, is finally punished by this Encore. Cream Cheese looking to step up, maybe punish Moosey Kitten, who is low. But in the end, it's 1-for-1, but not the members we expected to die.
Yeah, a little bit of a plot twist. Hey, I mean, you're able to get that big shutdown here in the bot lane, which was really nice. Kaizen finally able to punish with that Encore, like you mentioned. They were really wanting that here. This Caitlyn, for Excel, does have cleanse, but it is currently down, I believe was used during that whole skerfuffle. And you follow that up with a drop the beat snare. Should be a pretty easy peasy kill, like we saw, although was pretty damn close. Gaming Nerd, or no, Moosey Kitten, really damn low after that whole ordeal, and we saw the Dragon also picked up during all of that, so a lot to digest here. As more fighting does happen, that's a shield bow pop, but should be hunky-dory here for kills.
Yeah, Kills is just looking to threaten Spat as much as possible. Trying to force out the egg.
engage,
Meanwhile, PBF's top side, where isn't he? Zenith Blade lands onto Zigify. The Shield of Daybreak will lock him down. So Elastic Slingshot gets him out about half health after a good chunk out of one hand.
Thankfully, you are Zek here as Zigify, so the passive blobs will help you just heal a bunch off of these camps.
One hand, possibly stepping up here. Kills. Going to be forced to head back to that Soul Unbound, caught in the Glacial Storm, dashes in with the Mortal Steel, has some damage coming out, gets the Spirit Cleave damage and the shield, sidesteps, but is still caught by that Flash Frost, as in comes the Elastic Slingshot to take him down. Kill heading over to Spat.
And Spat, more than happy to wait out that Soul Unbound, yoink back, and finish off the kill. We'll finish off kills there when they do come on back. Encore is available here in just a second for Moosey Kittens. Should just be able to go for that in all honesty.
Traps. The slow comes out, flash for flash, dodging out on that Encore Acel, making sure he doesn't fall for the same trick twice. Gets out of the way, saves his tower, just poking out with a little bit of damage, and still up 30 CS.
But you are very low. You have no flash. Your cleanse will be back up for the next Encore, but we see PBF here now in the bot lane for the first time on feels like forever. Just to make sure there's no more shenanigans.
Get a knock up here by Buddha. Gets a big chunk off of that brittle proc onto One Hand, who tries to trade back with the Kingslayer. We see the TP coming in mid. Spat just wants to hold on to this tower as long as possible. Meanwhile, Acel finally able to shove this up past midway with his support in the area. Flash Frost stun lands, and there's the crystallized wall, chunking out kills, pops the shield bowl, forces out the Mortal Steel to dash away. The Flash is there, but he dashes back in with the Fate Steel, and we cut away. Meanwhile, bot side, Zigify goes in 3v3 bot side. Accel pumping out the damage to Glacial Storm land, and there's the lockdown. But they're on to Zigify. PBF will take that down. They're keeping it going. Moosey Kitten will fall to the ace in the hole. Gaming Nerd is going to run, but locked down by the Permafrost, and he will die. Meanwhile, mid lane, we didn't see the end of it, but kills did fall to Spat in the end.
That was really close for kills because the flash, Fate Unbound or Soul Unbound or Fate Sealed.
Yep.
I mixed up the names on Yone's abilities because they're also
I think he got him down to egg was the thing.
It was an egg, yeah.
Him. Yeah, the egg saved him there. If that egg hadn't been up, that would have been so clean by kills. Even with the egg being up, it's clean by kills. He managed to trade egg when he should have just been dead, period.
And I didn't see if that bot lane was the first turret because we also saw Buddha's Dragon able to take that top lane turret solo. So
I believe the bot lane tower was the first tower, yes.
I want to say so too. I'm not sure, but there was also 2 towers picked up with that bot lane herald. So even if it wasn't the first turret,
it was
that's
very
2
much
turrets
more
worth of
impactful.
gold going into your Caitlyn here. So that's a big deal. You know, you got Dragon up in a bit here. This Caitlyn almost at 2 items. Not
got
quite.
A Fnatic
but...
Death Bush. They're looking at it. They're behind. Cream Cheese in the area, spotted out on this ward. Going to be caught by the Elastic Slingshot. There is the Encore to follow it up. Catches 2. Cream Cheese trying to run away. The Let's Bounce is there, but they're turning it around. Call the Fort God is coming over the top. Knocks up onto 3. The Blobules are popped. Looks like one hand's going deep. He gets Gaming Nerd. He's looking for more. There's over the top side, off the Fate Sealed, on the Spirit. He's getting more. That's more chunks. That's them all. They get them all. That's the ace. 5 for nothing. Going to the Clowns.
Oh my god, and reminds me a little bit of last game here, Pickle, where the Clowns able to take very decisive fights around these dragons, although this time around, I mean, Kaizen, it was a pretty decent start to that fight, but the thing is, they're just using so much to try and lock down Cream Cheese, the tank Sejuani. The Radiant Virtue Heal coming through for Cream Cheese, keeping them alive for even longer, and then we just saw the destruction onto the backline once the AoE started coming through from kills, from one hand with that stolen ultimate, and a little bit of a dire straits situation right now.
Yeah, it looked like Kaizen was trying to get an early pick, but Sejuani is not somebody you can burst out. So tanky already, especially with the Frost Armor passive active, and she's just able to walk out thanks to the Fury of the North. And really, you burned all your cooldowns onto a Sejuani. CB Clowns are going to look at you and say, thank you, please do that again, while my Silas Yone absolutely shred your backline. We saw CB Kills get a 3-man Fate Sealed off his Soul Unbound, and just, at that point, the fight was over.
Yeah, like, you already used so much to try and burst down Cream Cheese that there wasn't a lot left in the tank, and even though you have this 3-kill Sever, just wasn't quite able to get enough DPS down, got locked up, got bopped up, and then eventually dropped. So Kaizen, they're going to be licking their wounds here. They're going to have to make the next one count here, Bickle, because next one is Soul. And you are, 7k gold down, more or less. You're going to have to find something beforehand, maybe a free little objective bounty on one of these outer turrets. Maybe you're able to get a nice pick and pick up a shutdown onto one of these members here. Whatever. You need to get a little something in the tank, though.
Yeah, everybody but Cream Cheese right now has 150 gold bounty on themselves. Top lane tower looks like it's about a hair's breadth away from being knocked over. So you're probably going to be looking to get something there. But definitely need to get some money in the bank before this next fight happens in 3 minutes at Soul. Meanwhile, PBF is still going. Zigify is there, though. The Encore will catch itself, force out the cleanse. The Let's Bounce flashed into, but there is the Glacial Prison lockdown with the Radiant Virtue Healing. He will fall on the end of the ricochets of Sivir, but PBF and the gang are here. But that's not good, because here's the Cavalry, and that is the rest of Kaizen collapsing. They're able to pick off 2, but Kills is here. Big Fate Sealed into the backline, picks off Moosey Kitten, snaps back into 2. flashes away. One hand still looking to go, though. No knockup off the Mortal Steel. Zigify trying to get the knockup off the off that engage, off the last slingshot. Cream Cheese gets the stun into Zigify. Now it's Gaming Nerd will fall. One hand takes him down. The knockup of the Mortal Steel is there onto Buddha. They're looking to keep the chain going. Permafrost CC has been popped, but that doesn't matter when you get a knockup off the Mortal Steel. And what looked dire for the side of CB Clowns is turned on by a beautiful engage from CB Kills and Fate Seal.
Strong Baron. I mean, why not? You have the man advantage. There's no smite to contest you right now. The world is your oyster, and Baron is the oyster, I guess. I mean, probably the same family. I don't know if it's a mollusk.
Yeah, oyster, crab, Baron, same thing.
Yeah. I forget the lore. Does Scuttle Crab evolve into Baron? I know Herald does. I just forget if Scuttle evolves.
No, I think it's just I don't think Rift evolves into Baron. I know that Rift Herald is a mutated Scuttle Crab.
Okay.
I believe that's the same family line. I don't know if Baron fits it.
I don't know. Because Baron is Void, and Herald's also Void, I believe. So,
yeah, I think they're just both different things with Void Corruption. I think that Herald is a Void Corrupted giant Scuttle Crab, if I'm thinking right. But right now, 1 minute until this Hex Tech Soul is on the board for the side of the Clowns, and you got to think this is the make or break point for Kaizen. They're down, but Soul makes this so much harder. PBF and Cream Cheese stepping up to get vision in the area. What do you do right now? Yes, Ornn items are coming online. You just got that Worm Fallen sacrifice onto Gaming Nerd. This Sivir is who you're hoping to try and make something happen. But with these solo laners split, you got to think this is where they're calling it. Buddha is looking for it. But the beautiful Glacial Prism locks him down. Meanwhile, PBF goes in. Despite having the disengage already there in the backline, though, on comes Kills. Fate Sealed gets 2. They're going to disengage, though. One hand steals the Encore, going to not pop it. Yep, there it is, on to 3. TD is looking to rip through. Cream Cheese doing his work. One hand is just healing through everything alongside CB Kills. The Bloodthirst, sorry, not the Bloodthirst, the Shield Bow and the Bork is enough. Fat trying to run, but Cream Cheese has the slows, has the Arctic Assault forward soon enough. There's another Winter's Wrath into a Permafrost stun. The Crystallized Wall will not save you long, my friend, but the Glacial
too feisty here.
Will for now, as they just disengage, and they're looking to keep shoving mid. They're looking for this and looking to get themselves a Hex Tech Soul. One hand really low though. Has to back off. Spat gonna try and disengage, buy themselves some time, use the Glacial Storm to clear some waves. As they look to pick off a few members that were there, as they saw the side laners side laning, did not work out for them as a great Glacial Prism stopped the call of the Forge God. Though it looked like PBF was feeling a bit generous as he dove into 4.
Yeah, like PBF going in a little early, knows the flank is coming, but really just great stalling there from CB Clowns. They know that their solo laners are coming in hot, will have the flank, will be able to kind of destroy everyone on Kaizen's backline here. Able to stop the call of the Forge God engage there, and Zigify already had used that Elastic Slingshot. So then you just have Kaizen, who are already down a lot of gold, pincered off by your solo laners, and then just instantly evaporated.
They really are just popped like that. The solo laners of CB Clown right now are so strong at the moment. 7-2 and 5, 5-2 and 7 respectively between one-handed CB Kills. They're going to be absolutely shredding 2 and 3 items, working towards a third for both kills and a sell. You are in such a strong position to try and close out this game. 11k gold lead, Baron on the table in 2 minutes, Elder on the table in 5. I doubt we get there, in all honesty. I think they're going to be able to try and close this out with the next Baron.
It should be pretty textbook closing here. A pretty textbook game closing coming on up. Like you mentioned here, Bickle, you got this huge lead. You got the Soul. You got the lead on all your players here. There is still the scaling factor.
On to Buddha. uses the Soul Unbound to get a bit closer, will snap back in the end, chunks into about half health. Burn the
Look for the
Ignite as
Glacial
well, looking to be a
Prism.
bit aggressive. Up top side, though, this Glacial Storm from Anivia doing a great job to clear waves. Spat just doing their best to try and delay the siege as much as possible. And right now, it's CB Clowns going for the Fnatic Death Push. They say, we're not far enough ahead. And it looks like they've found their target as Gaming Nerd is in their sights. Glacial Prism will lock him down. Spell Shield ain't going to get you out of that one, buddy. The TP comes in as Spat is running for their life.
They'll have to be careful.
Net away, and that just means that's 1 for nothing as just a pick by PBF and co.
Unfortunate situation for Gaming Nerd, to say the least. Like, is chilling under your turret. I'll see if Spat's able to keep this push held off, because you have that exposed inhib here in the mid lane. You got the minions already pushing on in, and you're taking a lot of damage with this Hextech Soul poke just coming on through. Okay.
They are, and they're on right now to Zigify. Kills just diving in with this Immortal Steel. Feels so safe with the Soul Unbound active. Cream Cheese getting a bit of damage out there. Encore on to 2. Pulls them back, forces out the cleanse. Stolen Call, the Forge God will come in onto the Seraphine. Moosey Kitten will fall, as that's another pick going over to the side of the Clowns.
And oh, there's the counter.
Here's the actual Call of the Forge God into multiple from that elastic slingshot into the pole, but there's a big Fate Seal to disengage. It looks like Kaizen has found their engage, trying to get more from it as Kills sacrifices his life to buy time for his AD carry and friends. Meanwhile, Cream Cheese is looking to try and stop Zigify, but PBF is here as well. I don't know if these two can do it. The Knight's Vows thrown on for a little bit of extra healing, and the TP comes in, but that's kill going over to Clowns with Cream Cheese and PBF picking up a kill onto the jungler. Zigify feeling a bit too aggressive, going a bit too ham. You had the picks, and he kept chasing.
I mean, they were super close there, Bickle. That was a pretty damn low health Cream Cheese. There's one more elastic slingshot, bro. Just one more. And you finish off that kill. But sadly, the cavalry does come in. I understand why Zigify wanted to keep chasing that, because you're already this far down. You pick up that jungler while Baron's on up. You can try and force that with that smite advantage, but that's not the case. Now you're the one at the smite disadvantage while your base is wide open. Especially in the mid lane with that downed inhibitor. So have fun contesting this Baron when all these members can just fly over the wall and just start goon squatting you.
Yeah, and right now this is just looking like a free Baron. Kills trying to zone away, making sure there is no contest. Zigify not here yet, meaning this is completely free. We see one hand caught out, but the Glacial Prism will come over. Lock down Spat. He does have the egg available.
Eight seal.
Locks him down. They're keeping going. That is Spat down. Call of the Forge Gods traded. Encore is available for one hand. He don't need it, though. And that's another member falling. Zigify will next fall into his bloblets. He's going down. Buddha is the last man standing. But peace ain't gonna bring you a thing, buddy, because the Clowns want blood. The Clowns are calling it early. They got dinner plans. They want to go, and they are going to take this game and this series convincingly in a 2-0 fashion, saying last week was a fluke. We are still some of the favorites here. We are a team to be trifled with, as that is the CVB Clowns picking up a 2-0 over Event Horizon.
Yep, 2-0 indeed here, Bickle, and it's going to be very nice for them when they go into week number 4, now that they have this positive record again, and also in very dominant fashion, because keep in mind, before this series, Kaizen hadn't dropped a single game. They were 4-0 across both week 1 and week 2. Now they are 4-2. Very rough looking set of games, and it looks like the Clowns just kind of had their book.
They really did. The Clowns kind of just knew exactly what to expect, and they just did really well with preparing, and they came in and just kind of slaughtered them, in all honesty. Like, they dominated Kaizen. It'll really be interesting to see, was this Kaizen having a bad night, or is this what the Clowns are capable of?
That's definitely a question I think is on a lot of our minds here, Bickle, because, like, I mean, there's a reason why Kaizen was 4-0 going into this week across all their games. Like, it wasn't like, oh, yeah, it was pretty close. No, they're pretty clean cut 4-0s if my memory serves me correctly. And to get 2-0 like this, oof, it's
Yeah.
definitely gonna be a blow to your ego, but you can still pick it back up. I mean, there's a reason why you were 4-0 before this, and you still got the entire season ahead of you.
Definitely. And speaking of the rest of the season ahead of them, heading into next week, CB Clowns will be taking on Mystic Cats Red, who unfortunately did have to FF that series earlier tonight, meaning that Mystic Cats currently sit at 0-3, looking for their first win. Meanwhile, Event Horizon Kaizen, looking for their bounce back next week, they take on TD Dusk. And last I checked, I think they're in Game 3 right now between themselves and Glacial.
I mean, that's definitely that's gonna be an exciting series. Sadly, we can't watch it right now, but we are gonna have to wrap up here pretty quickly, Bickle, because it looks like our producer has somewhere to be. So, any
All right, then
farewell?
we're gonna end this thing pretty damn quickly. All right,
Yeah.
thank you everybody for coming out. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you, CB, for keeping this a quick 2-0 since our producers got something apparently. But we love you guys for coming out. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for being here. Go Farino, thank you for joining me. Caddy, thank you for producing. It's been an absolute pleasure having you guys, and we will see you guys next time.